In today's video, I'll be covering my 2020 NHL mock draft rankings and who I think will go through picks 1 through 10 in this year's draft. Now, this draft is shaping up to be one of the deepest we've seen in the past half decade since the Connor McDavid draft, and it excites me so much to see so much prospect potential in a lot of these players who I think will turn out to be very, very good NHL players in the future. Anyway, with that being said, let's get right into the video. But before we do start this video, please make sure to comment, like, and subscribe if you guys are new around here. It does help me out tremendously to make these videos for you guys. And for question of the day, who would be your top 10 in this draft, and why? Because I would definitely like to hear your guys' opinions down below if you guys do disagree or agree with my opinions. Anyways, without further ado, let's get to ranking number 10. Now, starting it off with the number 10 pick, I have Cole Perfetti. And Cole Perfetti has had an amazing season in the OHL. He's put up marvelous numbers. That's 111 points in 61 games played. And not to mention his back-to-back 37-goal seasons have definitely put him a top-tier prospect in this draft. The one thing holding him back, though, is his height. He's at 5'10", 180 pounds. This is a bit of a setback, but honestly, regardless of these setbacks, he can still be considered a top-end NHL prospect in this draft who I think could definitely rise. But for now, I'm definitely going to have to put him at that number 10 pick. Anyways, with that being said, let's get into number 9. Now, next up on this list with the number 9 selection, I have Yaroslav Askarov, the Russian goaltender. And although Askarov has slightly fallen off since the start of last year, I still consider him one of the top picks in this draft, as he is a high-end, flexible Russian goalie who I think can really make a difference in this league. And any team who would have them in their youth system would be lucky to have him, because he is still, regardless of his more shaky performance, I guess you could say in the double IHF, he could still turn out to be the next Vasilevsky, Bobrovsky type goalie, because, man, those Russians, man, they produce some pretty top-end goalies, and I'm pretty sure Askarov, along with guys like Vasilevsky and Bobrovsky, as I said earlier, would be on the top of the list. So yeah, my number 9 pick would have to be Yaroslav Askarov. Now, next up with the number 8 selection in this year's draft, I have Marco Rossi, who has had an exceptional year in this year's OHL, where he's put about 120 points in 56 games played. And believe it or not, these are better numbers than Cole Perfetti. And Cole Perfetti's actually put up some pretty good numbers, so a lot of credit to Marco Rossi there. He has speed, skill, strength. He's a bit stockier than Cole Perfetti, and he's also a bit shorter, which is a bit of a downside to him, I must say. But I do still have to put him over Cole Perfetti, as I consider him more a Niels Hoglander type player, as he is also 5'9", and they both kind of like that speedy, small, I guess you could say stockier type winger who I think could really be a good fit in the NHL, kind of like a Johnny Gaudreau 2 type player, and I consider him a potential steal in the draft. I think he's often overlooked, and I think that he could really go to a team and make a difference as a top-line contributor. With the number 7 selection now, I have Anton Lundell. And Anton Lundell has playing in League Up, where he's put up 28 points in 44 games played. These are very good numbers for an 18-year-old playing in Liga. And he's playing for HIFK Helsinki, and he's just playing amazing there. He's such a strong player. He's 6 foot, 185 pounds. I think he's going to be a really good player, Capo Caco type player, and I think that he has the potential of being better than Capo Caco, honestly. I was looking at his highlights the other day. He was looking really strong out there on the puck, a really confident skater, head-high ability. I think that he's really good, and any team would be lucky to have him. In this year's World Juniors, he put up 4 points in 7 games played, and obviously didn't look at a place there, even being in his rookie season in the World Junior tournaments. But yeah, he's looking very good, and I'm excited to see which team gets him. I'm really high on this guy. Like, if the Canucks weren't doing that good, I would say target this guy, but obviously the Canucks are a bit out of reach from even Anton Lundell, and I just think that whoever gets him, you are considered very lucky, because he's going to bring a lot of skill to your team. Now, next up with the next selection in this draft, I have Jamie Drysdale, who, similar to a lot of players on this list, has played in the OHL this year. And unlike the other players who were all forwards, Jamie Drysdale is a defenseman, where he has put up magnificent numbers. He's put up point per game numbers, that's 47 points in 49 games played for a defenseman who is 17 years old playing in the OHL for the Erie Otters. He has not looked out of place at all. He is a bit light at 170 pounds, but that's okay. He's speedy, he's quick, he's elusive, he's got everything you want in a puck-moving offensive defenseman, similar to Tyson Barrie, to the Quinn Hughes out there. You know, he's just up there, and he's got the potential of being very, very top end, and putting him on your decor would really strengthen that for years to come. And he's definitely worthy of that number 6 selection. Now, next up on this list at number 5, I have Alexander Holtz. And Holtz has been playing up in the SHL this year, where he's put up 16 points in 35 games played. And this, for an 18-year-old in the SHL, a league against men, that's amazing. And he will not look out of place. He will slide in so nicely as a left-wing role in the NHL when he makes his debut on whichever team that he plays for. He's going to play so well. He's so strong on the puck. He has such a good shot. He's just got everything you need in a scoring winger who can produce for you. And definitely deserving of this number 5 pick. Now, next up on this list, we have Lucas Raymond, selected 4th overall. Lucas Raymond has been playing in the SHL this year as well, where he's put up 10 points in 30 games played for Frölunda. And this year in the IIHF tournament, he's put up 4 points in 7 games played. He's just such a speedy, fast, great release winger who I think is very like a counterpart to Holtz, but I feel like he's even better. He hasn't had the greatest stats this year, but his skill, his creativity on the puck, it's fun to watch. And Holtz heading into the draft was a possible top 3 selection. I'm just gonna have to bump him out of that right now, but he's definitely deserving of being a top 5 pick, a top 4 pick even. And he's just such a great player. I just love Swedish players too, because I don't know, maybe it's just because of the Canucks or whatever. But yeah, he's definitely gonna be a great player, and I'm definitely gonna be following his career to whichever team he goes to. Alright, so now we move into the top 3, where for my 3rd selection, I have chosen Tim Stützle, coming out of the DEL, playing for the Mannheim Eagles. Now, Tim Stützle has been a pretty high riser in the draft, as he wasn't really on the radar like early into last season, but he's really picked up ever since, I'd say just before the World Juniors, where he's really picked himself up. And obviously with Germany this year, he did have 5 points in 5 games played, 5 assists to be exact. He is a great playmaker out there on the ice, a great centerman who I think would be a great two-way type guy. I see him as quite a Horvat type guy, maybe even like a Draisaitl playing out of the German system. You never know. But he's been playing very good out in the DEL, where he's recorded 34 points in 41 games played. And yeah, this guy's just looking really strong and looking scary to play against in the future. Now, next up with the number 2 pick overall, I have from the Sudbury Wolves of the OHL, Quinton Byfield. And let me tell you this, Quinton Byfield is shaping up to look like an absolute beast. He's put up 82 points this year in 45 games played with Sudbury, and this guy is 6'4". He's 6'4" and he's 17 years old, 215 pounds. This guy is not looking like a force that you would want to reckon with. He's getting the hits, he's getting into fights, he's finishing his checks, he's putting up points, he's scoring goals, he's doing everything that you'd want an NHL caliber player to do. He's just an absolute beast out there, dominating player in the OHL. He's going to be a beast in the NHL, definitely worthy of that number 2 pick, even the number 1 pick. But obviously the person that we have above him, we all probably know him, but if you do not know him, he is amazing. But without him, he would definitely be a worthy even a 1st overall pick. But he's going 2nd overall. I don't see any doubt in my mind for that. But yeah, Quinton Byfield is looking like an absolute force out there. Now, last but certainly not least on this list, we have the 1st overall pick, where I have Alexis Lafreniere. Now, Alexis Lafreniere is probably the best player to come out of a draft since Connor McDavid himself, and that's saying a lot. He put up 112 points this year in 56 games within the QMJHL with Rimouski, and this year in the World Juniors, he put up 10 points in 5 games, which is just crazy. It just goes to show that this guy can put up points anywhere he plays, and he's definitely not going to have an issue playing in the NHL next year, where he finds himself. I'd say getting around 50, 60 points. This guy's just looking insane, and just a really special player. And I'll definitely be following him for the years to come, where he develops into the player that we're all expecting him to be. He's going to be very good, and it's very exciting to see his potential overall. Anyway, guys, I think that's it for this video. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you guys are new around here. And yeah, make sure you guys all have a good day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.